Thank you very much, Professor, for that presentation and for your report. We'll have to keep an eye on the clock. There are a few people who want the floor. There are some questions. I think there are 3 people, in fact, who are on the speakers list. Well, if there's no more than that, I'll shut the speakers. Mr. Tsoukalas.
Thank you, Chairman. And I'd like to thank the speaker for this excellent paper. And I have to say that I really appreciate that R&D and technology themes are again and again on our agenda in these committee meetings, and I'd like to thank the Chair for that. This report talks about difficulties observed in the attainment of the Lisbon strategy. Quantitative targets, it's in inverted commas. I think this underestimates the real situation, and I think it's a rounded way of addressing and approaching research in general, and in this committee as well, unfortunately. However, the complexity of various initiatives is pointed out in the framework of ERA, and there are many of these organisations, bodies, frameworks and so on. And it seems that we move constantly towards a more complex system with regard to management and funding of research, and this obviously is to the detriment of efficiency and effectiveness. I'm afraid that rather than financing experiments, we're experimenting with financing. Instead of policy for research, we're still researching our policies. And the problem with European research, it's not the researchers themselves, but the people who implement policies at national and European level with regard to research. And we have examples of good practices all around us, successful practices in Europe and in the rest of the world. I might mention, for example, the British example. Since the research assessment exercise was established for universities and Lord Sainsbury's policy and Sir David King's policy was implemented, we've seen impressive results in the scientific output as well as in economies of scale with regard to the money spent. Let me remind you that of the 12 best universities in the world, 6 of these are British, and in the 200 best, 32 are European and 16 of those are British. So these are examples of successful policies for research which can be found everywhere. This report makes some very useful recommendations, of course, for various measures that can be adopted in order to help boost this area of research. But I don't think this will be sufficient in the long term. If you take a look at the 2 documents, one is the European Parliament document referring to questions of administration, and in the European Commission document called More Research Intensive and Integrated Research Area, which was published in 2008-2009, you'll see that in the crucial questions that are referred to in the Lisbon Strategy, answers with regard to progress made are expressed in a very mild form but are negative. For example, to the question, what's the situation in universities in Europe as compared with their research output and results? Well, the answer is that we don't have enough published. Have we increased international patents? The answer is no. Do we have a consistent university assessment system? The response is we do not have a reliable system, effective system. So, Mr. Chairman, I would be very grateful if the Lisbon strategy and the policy that we will follow up until 2020, if this could be the subject of a specific study and survey with regard to the outside world. If Europe is going to have to deal with the BRIC countries in 2025 invading us in research and technology and surpassing us, I would like to know what our policy is going to be. It's also a pity that we didn't read the Marimonge Carvalho report today, because this lays down the essential issues for the first time, and they are excellency. Interruption from the chair. I'm sorry, ladies and gentlemen, the microphone is on. Questions? Interruption from the chair. Yes, I can see you're about to nab me with the gavel. I will wind up there. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mrs.